You can change your entire life by just changing one habit. Subscribe to our podcast and make listening a habit.
Change your mindset, manifest your dream life, and live magically with Rise and Align.
Raising the frequency one episode at a time.
Everything is always working out for us.
Hello and welcome back to the Rise and Align podcast, where we talk about all things high vibrational. We are your hosts. My name is Haley.
And I'm Demi, and today we are so excited to announce our very special guest, Diana Esther. She is an author, poet, a happiness and well-being coach, and a soul doctor, and she has infinite knowledge to share with us today about how to find the diamond within.
I'm very, very happy to be with you, and more than anything, to relate to another generation, the generation of my children, which I think so vitally important. I think we have to bridge the difference between us.
I agree.
And that it's something that it's more important than anything right now, because the wisdom and the experience that our generation can give you is priceless.
Absolutely. Yeah, we so appreciate that and totally agree. And also, I will say, I think there are so many people from the older generation who have so much wisdom that the younger generation needs to learn and hasn't and isn't actively like researching or wanting to find that information. And also, there are a lot of people who have so much childhood trauma that they haven't processed and have passed on to our generation as well, so
It's true.
both of those things just make it so important, I think.
Absolutely. I think the most important thing is a life experience, something that you went through yourself. You can read books, you can listen to podcasts, you can go to webinars, but unless you went through it yourself, you don't really connect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you cook the meal, you don't know how good cook you are.
So
I love that.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everything in life. You have to try it for yourself to see if it excites you, if it interests you, if it helps you. Because I don't believe in one size fits all. It's very much, if you look at life right now, everything offered for all. But we are not the same. We are all unique. And that's why if you want to lose weight, if you want to be more healthy, if you want to find your path in life, how can you approach life in the same way for everyone? You cannot. It will never give you the right results.
Absolutely. I resonate with that so much. I feel like even just our school system, for younger children, they approach it like that one size fits all. I feel like everyone has to start off with that same path, which I get, you have to have a foundation, but I think it would be so valuable to kind of have different paths for different people who need different things.
I think that's exactly what I teach and what I write about, that we're all unique,
Mm-hmm.
that we all have an amazing guidance within, as long as we are aware of it and as long as we know how to connect to it, because it's priceless. It helped me so many times in my life, since I was 5 years old, because not all of us born in the family where we feel emotional connection.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about your family, but I came from the loving family, but I had no emotional connection and I was not understood as a child.
Mm-hmm.
My soul wanted to express love and joy and to experience creation through dance, through music, through performance. And I was not allowed to do anything of that kind. And obviously, if your soul cannot express itself, it's become ill. And all the illnesses have underlaid weakness of something that we have not experienced, something we came here to experience, but had no chance to do it. And it's become blocked.
Mm-hmm.
We become ill and we become alone, feeling completely lost in this world. And that's why it's so important to understand why we are here, what life is all about.
Yes.
That was so beautiful. And I think that's a topic that we are just both so passionate about and also very consciously aware that, how we feel our emotions are impacting our physical health. And that's something that I just can't portray how important that is to share that with the world and have people come to that realization. I am a life coach and I work with that a lot. I use a book called Metaphysical Anatomy, but I haven't experienced that for myself. And I know you have. And that, just like you said, if you haven't gone through it, you can't really understand what that is or what that takes to heal that within and in the physical as well, right?
Okay.
Oh, I would just love to hear your whole story.
Mhm.
So, I would love to include what we've already talked about, but for our audience, would you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your story and how you got here?
Okay, I'm a transformational teacher. I'm a writer. I'm a poet. Um, I'm a creative soul that came here to bring love into this world, to feel happiness and joy, and something that I have never experienced when I was smaller, when I was younger. I felt that life is beautiful and special, but being born during the time of former Soviet Union and the time of Cold War, darkness and separation, and very strong conditioning, it was not the perfect environment to express joy and happiness or to find anywhere. So it's interesting how soul choose its journey, because every soul came here with a purpose. But because there is so-called the game of life, which has its universal rules, we simply forget about it. We know nothing. We begin from the clean sheet and we start from being a baby, being brought up and conditioned by our family environment. Every family is different, and our family always loving us, but they can only give us what they've experienced and know themselves. So very often we come to completely opposite environments that what our soul wants to experience in order to go through all the challenges in life, to become stronger, to become aware, and to become the true light. It about 10 years ago, I started to write. And my writing came to me, I guess, very unexpectedly. While I was flying from London to Switzerland on a, to take part at the birthday of my very close friend. I bought a beautiful present, but I've forgotten to write a message. And I'm sitting in the airplane and thinking, what shall I write to him? He's a very talented man. He's a businessman. And he always comes to me and he always writes something very poetic. So I say to myself, why I'm not trying to write something the way he does? Let me try it. Let's see what's going to happen. And I just guess, relax into experience. And the first word that came into my consciousness, I begin to write. And what I've noticed, why I'm telling you this story, because it's quite important. When we don't have an inner trust to our thoughts and feelings, because our soul talks to us from within all the time. But because people think it's not real, it's made up, it's not important, people that are, I'm not skillful inside, or I am not educated enough, or I really don't know. So I don't trust my own self. I trust people outside of me because they have high education, because they're older, because they've been through life. So people have tendency do not trust what comes from within. And because since my childhood, I went through so many traumatic experience and I had no one to share it with. I had no siblings. I had no friends in a way that I can open my heart to and speak about very deep spiritual feelings. I kept everything to myself. And I've learned that the only person I can trust is me. And this trust kept me going through the most hardest parts of my life, through illnesses, through trauma, through coming to a point in my life where I felt there is no way out. But there is always a way out. It's only if you allow yourself to bring it into your consciousness and into your awareness. And that was the way how I started to write, because I trusted every word and every sentence that was coming through me. Because everything that it's written in this world comes from the higher guidance. We are purely the channel.
Mm-hmm.
But if we block this channel, we don't give our soul permission to express itself. And that's why people get ill, because they don't live the life they were meant to live.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is very simple until we make it complicated. We have this tendency. So I started to write what came into my consciousness. And 40 minutes later, I said to myself, my God, that cannot be true. It's too beautiful. It's too powerful. So I came to an event because the poem I've written was much too long just to write on a birthday card. And I asked my friend to give me a microphone during the celebration, which I knew people come from all over the world, and everything is already, every part of the celebration is already filled in. But he kindly gave me 5 minutes and a microphone to speak. And since I've written that poem, I didn't had a chance even to read it back to me. And the lightning was very bad, and I left my glasses in the hotel. So it was quite messy experience. But I got up and I gave myself permission not to be in the fear mode and let it go, let it flow. And that's how it happened. And woman who was sitting next to me from US said, have you been writing long? I said, no, just a few hours ago. So, and since that moment, when I came back to London, every night I was waking up at about 3:30 a.m. writing poems. And in the first months, I've written 39 poems.
Wow.
First in my native tongue, and then I started to write in English. So usually poets don't write in both languages. They usually write in their own native tongue. But I'm fortunate enough to write in both languages. So it's a blessing and it's a gift that needs to be shared with the world. And not so long ago, my second book, The Diamond Within the Poetry of the Soul, just came out. And I will read you some of the poems because all of them rise your vibration. My aim and my intention that every poem will open your heart and every poem will awaken the love from within in a way that it's beautiful, gentle, without dogma, just something that will flow from the universe through me and through you. So one of the poems called Rise and Shine.
Oh,
Your
perfect.
podcast called Rise and Align. And
Yes.
I was thinking the best way to give you a taste of something, it's called Rise and Shine. Rise from the ashes of doubts and moods. Rise from the ashes of sadness and wounds. Rise from the world of hatred and fear. Refocus on love and feel lightness and cheer. Rise from the conditioning and all beliefs. Rise from the sadness and darkness you feel. Open your heart to the light that you are. Breathe in the blessings of light and love.
It's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, to be in your presence is to be in the presence of light and love. Just listening to you speak is raising my vibration
Mhm.
immensely. I'm in tears. I have goosebumps.
Honestly.
And to hear your story, I mean, it sounds like everything was just absolutely so divinely aligned. Like you were in alignment going to a friend's birthday and it just flowed to you. Everything has just, you're so clearly in the flow. That's so beautiful.
But this flow obviously didn't happen just by itself. Because I was born at the time of Soviet Union, and as I mentioned, nothing that my soul wanted to express, I could. I ended up being very ill since I was 5 years old. I ended up one night, I was ended up with a massive stomach aches in the hospital all by myself. And doctors didn't know what to do with me, and they couldn't stop the pain because at the time we had no painkillers available.
Mhm.
And all the treatments they used to give, they were they were natural treatments, but they were very barbaric. And thinking back to myself, I said, my God, how the child of 7, 8, 9 years old until almost the age of 18 have to be submitted to hospitals 5, 7 times a year to go through these harsh and horrible treatments just just to live, just to be alive. So when I was small and I felt it was first time I was in the hospital. I was taken with excruciating stomach aches. And it was point when I felt I was dying. I couldn't bear the pain anymore. And in that moment, just before I gave up, I heard the whisper from within. Something that came at the heat wave and raised my vibration to the height, maybe of a grown up, not a child. And I felt so strong. And I felt like this is not the last moment. It's the beginning of something I have no clue about. I don't know what it is. I never shared this moment with anybody because I knew I had no one to share it with who would understand me. And to be honest, I didn't understood myself, but I accepted it as my own. I was doubting at the beginning, saying I made it up. It's an illusion. But because it gave me this massive amount of strength, it gave me trust that I keep since that moment for the rest of my life. And
Mhm.
this trust is the most important connection you can have in your life. Because if you don't trust yourself, who can you trust in this world? We came by ourselves, we're going to go by ourselves.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, our society and our environments, regardless which country you're in, doesn't teach us to trust our feelings, our emotions, and the thoughts within ourselves. They simply don't think you're old enough, you're skillful enough, you're knowledgeable enough. So we have this tendency that we always rely on somebody else's opinion, and we trust somebody else's opinion so much more than our own. And that's what creates separation with everything.
Mhm.
Because even within our body, when we say, let's say I have a headache, People think headache, it's something wrong with my head. But it's not the head, it's the whole body that it's aching. We never look at the body as a whole. We have Western medicine that keeps on putting band-aids on our organs. Yes, and instead of healing us, creating chronic illness, because it cannot be healed that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I know quite a lot of people in my environment, different age groups, that don't trust anything and anybody but doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that doctors are bad, not at all, but they're never taught to look at human person as a whole. It's just a way they taught at the university how to use chemicals, how to look at separation, and that's what causing a lot of illnesses and problems. And there is no way out unless there is an awareness that the cause of the problem is not outside of yourself. The cause of the problem starts from within. And under each and every medical issue, you have an emotion that was not accepted, emotion that was blocked and couldn't come up to the surface for you to see. And I think your generation is absolutely amazing, because if you don't search for the truth, you will never find.
Mm-hmm.
And what I feel that there is a hope for this world, because you're all searching for truth. And I'm the truth seeker. I would not go to bed to sleep until I found the truth.
Me too.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the moment we connect to the truth of life, our life changes. It just takes a change of one thought. Sometimes just one thought immediately changes your life path without you even knowing. People have tendency and fear of change because change is unknown. But the reason why they fear change, because they don't know that they're changing millions times a day. They're changing without awareness. Each time we say something differently, we already chosen a different life path. We're already on a different life journey without even understanding. You never go back. You always kind of proceed forward, but it's not always, unfortunately, become a joyful path and a joyful experience. So in order to change your negative experience to your positive experience, it just takes a change in consciousness. There is nothing else that people can do apart from connect to desire and truth within, because without desire nothing happens. If you're not interested, you're not willing to put something from your own self, to put your desire, to put your hope, to put your interest. When you search for something, there is always the way to find it. Because I always believe that all the answers already here. We have to grow to ask correct questions. The moment we ask correct questions, the answers coming back to us, whichever way. It can be email, it can be book, it can be a friend, even a child that can say something to you, and you say, "Oh my God, I was looking for this moment, and it just came from nowhere without me even knowing."
Yes, I feel like even with synchronicities, you start to see like, you're thinking about something and it'll appear in front of you, or you start seeing like certain angel numbers or something that just like remind you you're on the right path. I think that the universe has such a magical and special way of communicating with you and
Beautiful.
speaking with you. You just have to like listen.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel that life is magical.
Yes.
If you if you look at life like a field of infinite possibilities, and you allow yourself to try those possibilities, your life becomes magical experience.
Mm.
Just because you call your podcast Rise and Allow. And this is a beautiful name for podcast because everything comes back to allowing. If person is not allowing change, if person is not allowing feelings to feel feelings, if we are not allowing something, it's not gonna come into our life. We're gonna stay blocked. We're gonna stay as we were. Change is not gonna happen unless we allow it.
Mm.
Absolutely. So, a couple of things came to my mind while you were talking. And the first thing, now I will say, I know on a conscious level, the only way to influence those around us is by internalizing what we preach. And yet there's still this human part of me that so badly wants to share this knowledge and awaken people to the fact that what we're holding on to internally must express. And if we hold on to it, it's going to cause dis-ease in the body, right? I
Exactly.
I want everyone to know this. And so many people, because they are so programmed to believe what they were taught, are like completely shut off from that idea. They will be like, no, 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 that's nonsense. I can't believe it. And I'm like, well, think about it. If you think about food, your mouth waters, like your body's constantly responding. Like, how is it? To me, it's extremely obvious. Are there ever people in your life who are, or maybe were previously unwilling to hear that? Or how do you approach people who are like, no, that's a bunch of nonsense?
I think personally that if somebody is not searching for change, you can't help them.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. Because life is very interesting. It's give you a possibilities. It's offers you menu. It's up to you to choose. If you go to the restaurant, you get a menu, and life offers you exactly the same menu. So you're the one that actually make choice what you're going to eat, what you're going to say, how you're going to behave, and you create habits and you create belief system and you accept those beliefs. You allow yourself to accept them and they become who you are. If somebody is not interested to change badly enough, if person just, I don't know, shopping around, you can't help them because they're not there yet.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, sometimes it takes illness, some kind of hardship in the family, or God forbid, accident or something to awaken the consciousness within. But if person is not ready, it's going to be me against them, my opinion against your opinion. We are not here to prove them wrong and make ourselves right. Because in the universe, to be honest, there is no right and wrong.
Mm.
We live in the world of duality. So right and wrong exist at the same time. So if somebody is not ready to hear the truth, his ears are blocked. How can you get to them? You can't. We can only help those who want to be helped.
Yeah,
And I
I
think
true.
sometimes when we waste our time on people that are willing to debate, because the reason why they want to debate, they want your energy.
Mm.
They're
Mm.
living of it because they
Mhm.
can't produce themselves. So they will debate with you. They will say, "Oh, this is bullshit. This is not true. I don't believe in it." And you will feel passionate and hurt because you want to help this person. And it's gonna actually damage you more than anything else because you feel you want to help, but you cannot help.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So if somebody doesn't want to be helped, let them be where they are. Maybe the time will come, maybe not.
Hmm.
Maybe this lifetime is not the lifetime to wake up. Not everybody is ready, but whoever is ready, whoever is searching, going to be so grateful. And both of you will feel blessed.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for kind of bringing that to perspective and reminding us, we're here for the people who are ready to hear it.
Mhm.
And
100%.
it'll resonate even more, like it'll be more beneficial to the people who are ready. I also, you've as we're on the subject of healing dis-ease in the body, I know that you've had personal experience with that. I would
Yes.
really love to hear maybe a little more about your journey or things that you had mindset shifts you've had to make or habits you've had to change to
Mhm.
actually overcome that and heal your body.
It's interesting. I was in my 30s and was living in Germany. My child was 3 years old, and my husband and I went through a very difficult period of time and was trying to make life work. So we opened business and was working 7 days a week. I had no holidays, I had no days off, I had no nannies, no help. So it was a lot of stress. And as we all know now, that stress is the killer. One of those days, it's create issues and problems in the body. So it was a moment when I began to feel really, really bad. And one day I've noticed that I have something like a 2 penny size on the wrist of my left hand. It was like a circle that looks like a mosquito bite, like a thick mosquito bite. Never seen anything like it. So I went to a skin specialist. He looked at it. He opened the book in front of me and started to read in Latin. I said, "What does it mean?" He said, "Nobody knows where it's come from and nobody knows how to heal." I said, "Interesting." So he said to me, "Now you mentioned that you're going to south of Italy where it's going to be a lot of sun. Take a cortisone cream and see if it will help you." I came back in a couple of weeks and obviously nothing changed. The cortisone cream didn't help. And he taken biopsy of this particular place. So when the biopsy results came back, they came back inconclusive with lots of questions. If I have pets, if I have fish, if I have allergies, if there is anything in my environment that can create this kind of problem within my body. And obviously, it was nothing of the sort. To make the whole story short, it took 2 years to diagnose my conditions. I went from one doctor to another. They've taken biopsies each and every time, and whatever was inside of my body didn't like it. So from one little spot, the issue began to grow from my wrist to my elbow, and it looked awful. And it was a point of time where I lost trust in medicine. And I said, if they don't know what's wrong with me, and I don't know what's wrong with me, let it be. Because it's a lot of stress to go them. It's a lot of stress to go through biopsies and tests and blood tests. Nobody can diagnose me. And I began to cough. And I was coughing 24/7 for a year and a half. And life was very difficult, especially when you have to run business and you have a small child. So one day, one of my cousins introduced me to somebody who was otolaryngologist, doctor to heal, you understand, yeah, to heal my cough. So I went to see him. He, as everybody else, could not help me, could not diagnose, but said, look, what it is on your hand. I said, look, I don't know what it is. I don't want to talk about it. Unfortunately, nobody can give me a diagnosis, and it's very painful. I don't want to discuss it. He said to me, you know what, 9 years ago, I used to work in the hospital with somebody who is very famous, skin specialist from Austria. He must be today over 80, but still working as a clinical surgeon. So I said, fine. So I went to see this guy, and I said to myself, this will be a very, very last visit to a medical practitioner. And as I walked into his medical rooms, he was sitting on completely opposite side of the room, surrounded by maybe 15 young doctors who studied from him. And before I even opened my mouth, I just took my jacket and I had t-shirt. So he obviously saw from the distance everything that's happening on my arm. And he said, where have you been for the last 2 years? I said, what do you mean? He said, you have lymphatic cancer. You're not walking out of this hospital. Call your family. And I got frozen. Like somebody hit me on the head. I could not even make one step forward. That was last thing that could ever come to my awareness. I wasn't even thinking about it. And that's how it all started. I stayed in the hospital, and that night was the darkest night of my soul. I cried myself out.
Mm-hmm.
And without knowledge or understanding, I spoke to my cancer. And I said to my cancer, whoever you are not stronger than me. And I'm not allowing you to penetrate my body and to be in my body. It just came something natural from within me. And it felt like I created the wall between cancer and myself, which I had no knowledge about it. It just came out of me, just natural. Within next 2 weeks that I was in the hospital, I went through various tests, and I went through radiology, radio treatment, which was local to my arm. After a while, when I left hospital, I was under supervision of blood doctors, because lymphatic system, as you know, it's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's our detoxification system. And if something is not detoxifying well, it will find place anywhere in the body to find home.
Mm-hmm.
And this can be very, very tragic. So I went through a time where it looked better after the radiology. And I've been told I'm not allowed to have a second child. I'm not allowed to awaken the beast from within, because by changing hormones, even if it's become better now, something can stir and
Yeah.
create problems. And obviously, being who I am, I didn't listen to them. And I had a second child, and that was my blessing. And when I had the second child, exactly as I've been told, 2 months later, when my child was 2 months old, I saw the problem coming back big times. And because I was not ready for it, I had skiing vacation booked. And I called my radiologist, and she said to me, you have to come to the clinic immediately. You don't have time to wait. And I said, look, I have a paid vacation in front of me. I'll go on my vacation, and I come back in 2 weeks and I'll see you. She said, you're taking a big risk. And she was right. So I went on my vacation. I came back, and I saw for the first time that it's not only on one part of my body, but it was in multiple parts of the body, and it was already on the other side. And you can't treat radiology all of your body. You can only do it locally. So obviously, because of it, I was offered chemotherapy, but chemo those days, we are going back in 90s, was not developed as today. It was simply something that would kill everything negative, but a lot of positive things as well. And my body rebelled from within. And I had 3 weeks before the chemotherapy treatment. And I spoke into universe. Again, I was not considered myself to be on a spiritual path at all. I had no mentors. I never read spiritual books. It was all within me. I spoke into, I don't know, to God, to angels. I would not even call it this way because it was something within me. I felt it was something important, something powerful, but what was exactly the name of it? I had no clue. So I asked universe, if there is something in this world that can heal me, show me. That was it. And I've forgotten about it. And I decide, because I had no one to speak to, no one to ask guidance from, no one person in the whole world, just myself. And I said, okay, what shall I do now? I have to make some action steps from myself. I'm not going to sit and wait, for something to appear from the sky. So I went on the yellow pages because we had no mobile telephones, as you know, no computers, no research, no search agent, nothing, only books and yellow pages. I took out of yellow pages about 25 natural practitioners, and I started to go from one natural practitioner to another. And everyone gave me exactly the same sentence. We would love to help you. We cannot give you any reassurances. But if you want to go the natural route, don't try medical, because those two don't speak to each other. So I had to make choice without reassurance from either side. And I didn't feel comfortable inside of me. And I kept on searching. End of my list, the 25th person was a woman in Frankfurt who was in charge of Homeopathic Association in Germany. I flew to Frankfurt, and she was last person on my list. No one else I could even ask. And I'm walking into her office and telling her the story, and she's telling me back exactly the same as everybody else. And I burst in tears. And I said, I'm sorry, but I'm not leaving your office until you tell me what to do. I don't have anybody else to talk to. And I feel, you know what I need to do. And Germans, to be honest, don't like the force. They don't like to be pushed to the corner. So she was speechless for some moment, and so am I. And then she said to me, why don't you try macrobiotics? I said, what is it? She said, it's a way to heal your body by eating specific diet. And the moment she mentioned it, every cell in my being was clapping and celebrating. I felt such inspiration from within. I said, look, I know nothing about macrobiotics. I never heard of it. Can you find somebody who can help me, who can consult me? She said, don't worry, go back home. I will send you a phone number of the person and he will be in touch with you. And that's how it started. The person, his name was Hans Schmidt. He was from Switzerland. And him and another guy from Scotland and woman from Italy all went through a very, very tragic cancer experiences and decide to pay back to the world by creating a small macrobiotic association, happened to be in the city where I was living. So it was like a blessing for me, like a gift.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to see them and I had consultation that lasted about 4 hours. The question they asked me, nobody ever asked me in my whole life. And I felt such trust, and I had no one else to trust anyway. So I put 100% of trust in their hands. And whatever they told me, I committed to do 1,000%.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I looked at their suggestions, I said, guys, it's all, I understand, I'm sure it's very good, but I can't do it. I don't have any knowledge. I don't understand these kind of things, how I can do it. I need to change my life from one moment to another. And it was during the winter time. So they said, it's okay. We'll prepare everything for you. You come to us by midday and you eat here, and then you will take one meal back home. And after 2.5 weeks of doing precisely what they told me, my body began to heal, and the benefit was 40% success rate just in 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
So, yeah, so I went to see my doctor and I had wings. I wanted him to inspire me and to connect me to this healing. And contrary, he was very negative. He said, this is all witchcraft, and I don't suggest you to trust these people, because in my experience, yes, sometimes these kind of things go back, but they will definitely come out again. And you have to go through a chemotherapy treatment. So I said to him just one thing, let me know if it's so aggressive right now that I don't have time to wait. And he said to me, no, it's you have a little time to wait. So I stood up and I said, thank you so much for everything, but you will never see me again. And I left.
Oh.
And I went to those guys and I said to them, now that I see it's working, I want to study. And while still being not very well, they found for me a place in Holland, in the forest, in the wilderness, where I lived and healed my body for 4 months.
Mm.
So I I left baby and I left my small daughter with parents of my husband in Germany, and I took life into my hands. And if I would not do that, I don't know where I would have, if I would
Mm-hmm.
be still alive today. But it's not only that, that was the beginning of my spiritual awakening.
Mm-hmm.
That diet was not exactly a diet. It made me understood that everything that we eat is energy. But because we all have specific energy within us, not one size fits all, everything that may be still considered good and healthy food, not necessarily good for us.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to understand what's good for you, it's a very, very deep ancient philosophy that goes back thousands of years ago, ancient China and Japan. And when I saw the effect of this way of healing, detoxifying and empowering body that created inner peace and balance within my emotions to help me to deal with it, that was priceless. And I believe with a passion that if you have any kind of disease, first thing you need to do is to choose the right way of eating, to choose your diet. But it's something that needs to be done personally for each and every person because we're all different.
Absolutely.
Yes, but the moment that people open their mindset and begin to search for something that can help them to heal from within, because our body is built to heal. We have everything inside of us. It's only us who is blocking this healing ability, but by not trusting.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that journey. I think that there's so much wisdom in there that it's so important for other people to know there are other options and you can heal yourself. Uh, and one thing that I love that you said at the beginning was, when you first were told about the diagnosis, you immediately created a wall between you and the illness. You didn't you created separateness. You didn't become
Exactly. I didn't
that.
accept it.
Yes, which I think is so important to not attach yourself because then you're attaching yourself to that outcome. You're attaching yourself to the disease, which is so, the opposite of what you want to do. So I think that's super amazing. I love your insight and your knowledge on that. I also see a lot in that journey that you were so connected to your inner voice. You were able to not take what the doctors were telling you to heart. You took like you said, you discovered it for yourself. You didn't stop searching for answers and you were your own advocate. And I think so many people have a hard time stepping out of that logical part of their brain because, the like you touched on earlier, we tend to respect doctors because they go to school and they have education. And we tend to respect and want to listen to our elders, but that can also impact our belief system. How do we separate ourselves from the belief system of others and like discover our own belief system and tap into our intuition? I think so many people are so stuck up here. How do we like settle down into our heart and our own being?
First of all, I believe consciousness is everything and consciousness in everything.
Mm.
Everything we say, everything we eat, everything that's happening in our environment creates positive or negative outcome for us. I believe very much in affirmation. I think in order for yourself to tap into the trust, you have to build this trust. It's not going to happen. It's not a quick fix, but it's something that's going to last you a lifetime. Because when an individual is not trusting himself, because he's lacking knowledge of who he is truly are, he hasn't got enough awareness that he's capable of overcoming challenges or illnesses or negative relationships or traumatic cases. He needs to build his trust to himself. And the best way to do it is through affirmation. In my website, I have free resources, a lot of different information. They call 58 facets of diamond consciousness. There are also oracle cards that they can get, and it's something that will empower you from within. It is like a mental gym. We go to gym to build our muscles, but we don't do the mental gym. And mental gym is so important. I can tell you one thing, it helped me in life many times over. Because the moment you don't feel trust for yourself, you don't love yourself enough because you think you're not good enough. Somebody else is more beautiful, nicer, more educated, more clever. That's how our society kind of disempower us instead of empower every child as an individuality and unique diamond. We feel lack of everything. We are not good enough. And sometimes I look at young people that are so beautiful. And when you ask them, they don't feel good about themselves. Oh, I don't have, my legs are not beautiful. My hips are not nice. My hair is not good enough. So there is always the way we treat ourselves the way the body comes back at us.
Hmm.
Because body is listening to everything we say and act accordingly with biology, with chemical processes within us. And that's why it's made us feel the way we do.
Hmm.
If you say something about yourself, it's like you're rejecting the part of you. The body will keep you in loop, feeling that way. It's like a vicious circle. You can't get out. The only way you can break the circle by beginning to speak differently. Every word is a spell. Going back to ancient Egypt,
Hmm.
it's all history. Every word is a spell. And you can change your life simply by changing the words. But it takes time to accept those words and begin to empower yourself from within, trusting that what you're saying is the truth.
Hmm.
Because sometimes people say like parrots, they just repeat something, and there is absolute disconnect between what they say and how it makes them feel. But the moment you build the connection from what you say and how it makes you feel, your world changes.
Absolutely. That's
Exactly.
so
We
good.
talk about that all the time. Actually, we have a whole episode about, words are spells, and everything that you're saying is creating the reality that you experience. It's just so wonderful to hear somebody speak so aligned with us, and it just resonates so much. I am curious. So, going through something like that, I think it takes so much bravery to listen within and not be leaning on someone else or asking someone else for advice. Um, so you said you were married during that time as well. How was your husband and your family throughout that time? Like, did they hold the beliefs that you held, or?
Unfortunately, nobody in my environment ever hold any beliefs as I do. They were simply scared for me. And they thought I was irresponsible.
Hmm.
And they thought I was delusional. And obviously, I proved them wrong because I guess I was born that way, that my my connection to my soul and was so strong and so loving that each time I would listen to somebody else, it would not be successful. So I've learned whatever it is, even if I do mistakes, it's my mistake. I can correct it. I will learn from it. But I'm not going to take somebody's advice and then blame them. That's what usually happens. You take somebody else's advice and then you say, why did I listen to you?
Mhm.
I should have never listened to you. But it's not them. It's us who accepting somebody else's point of view, taking a board, putting belief into it, and proven wrong. So I just know one thing. Life taught me big lesson. You can listen and take advice from everybody and be respectful and make up your own decision what is the right answer for yourself. It's always good to listen to someone because you never know. Something sometimes can awaken with you a different understanding or a different interpretation, but decision should come from yourself. Because if you take responsibility for everything in your life, you can change it anytime. If it's somebody else, we can't change. We are not responsible for anybody, and everybody have a free will, as we all do. We
Hmm.
have this free will to choose, and that's why we allowed to make good choices and bad choices.
Mhm.
Every choice has something to teach us. So when we make choices and they happen to be not correct choices, we can always change them. We can always try and do something else and see what will come out of it.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Everything you say, I'm like, I don't want to talk. I just want to listen. It's just wonderful.
Divine wisdom you hold. I have a question regarding loneliness. I feel like in today's, age and era, we're kind of in an epidemic of loneliness. It's very common for people to feel alone, and I feel like that in itself can have a lot of impacts on your body as well. How do you go from a sense of loneliness to feeling whole? Because I know a lot of that has to do with building a relationship with yourself. Like you are whole as you are. You don't need anyone else to make you happy or whole. So how
Yes.
would you go about, or what advice would you give someone who is feeling very alone right now?
I think loneliness, it's something that it's conditioned in our society. We're living through a lot of noise.
Yes.
And that's what we're used to, okay? We need a lot of noise. We're scared of the silence. To us, silence, it's like death. To be on your own, to be in your company, it's like feeling lost, not loved, alone, nobody wants me. But this is all false beliefs, and it's all false understanding. But it's not because of us. Whole world is like that. That's why we have loud music. Wherever we go, I don't know, shopping centers, we have noise everywhere. The moment we come home and we are on our own, we feel completely disconnected from that life, and it's actually make us fearful, which is in contrary. It's our time to create. It's a time of creation. It's a time of connection. But because we don't have an experience, an understanding of it, we actually fear it. It just an inner fear. The moment you begin to understand and connect to the love within and learn how to love yourself, which is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes conscious understanding to use affirmations, to read books, to write journals, to express yourself, whichever way. It can be through cooking, it can be through walking, meditation, whatever people call it meditation. Whole life is a meditation. Dancing is meditation, cooking is meditation, running is meditation. The moment you are with yourself is a meditation moment, is a moment of connection. But because people learn that they need others to feel good about themselves, to be accepted, to be part of the community, they disconnect from themselves and they're scared to be by themselves. It's all lack of awareness. I believe everything, it's lack of awareness and lower consciousness, because if it's not in your field of your awareness, you're not going to see it. You're not going to come across anything that will change it because you're not there yet. You're looking on the outside for love, for support, for guidance, for healing, because you don't believe you can do it. And it's a process. It's a life process. And on my platform, I have an online program that gives you a chance to build from zero up to the much higher awareness, understanding of who you are through emotional empowerment. Because emotions is everything. That's what makes us separate from robots, from AI, from everything that it's technical. Because today, if you go out and you go to socialize with your friends, the only thing I can see that everybody is separated. Everybody is sitting on their phone or a tablet. There is no communication. Our generation had nothing of the kind, and we communicated. We exchanged opinions. We discussed books. We went to concert. We had communication, and you don't.
Hmm.
And this lack of communication does not help you to build communication with you, because you trust technology and you don't trust yourself.
So good.
Yes, that's
I'm gonna
amazing.
take that clip and share it with everyone I know. It's so true though. I think so many people are just because it's such a habitual behavior, completely
100%.
unaware of what it's actually doing to us, and how
Hmm.
it's affecting not only our communication between each other, but within.
The communication with us is the most important. And the moment you approach yourself from different awareness and you talk to yourself, because talking to yourself is very important.
Mhm.
You have to, can you imagine that every living being, regardless how old you are, have a child within.
Mhm.
The child within never grew up. It doesn't matter. You can be 5 years old and 100 years old. The child within you needs your love. The child within you need to be acknowledged. And everything that we went through during the childhood, every dream and every aspiration and every wish we had that was not fulfilled yet need to be addressed. Everything needs to be addressed and accepted, and it should come to the surface to be accepted. That's the biggest problem, because everything is under the rug, everything is beautiful, and people don't talk about it. Don't touch my feelings, don't touch my emotion, don't talk to me about it. And they don't understand how much harm it's give them. It's very harmful.
Absolutely.
And I always say word consciousness is can be misunderstood or taken for something that it's, I don't know, too philosophical.
Hmm.
But consciousness, I always say consciousness can be explained very easy. Everything that came out of your mouth is consciousness.
Mhm.
We always look and always careful but what comes into our mouth, and we are not careful what comes out.
Mm.
Yeah.
And what comes out is much more important than what goes in,
Mm.
because
Yes,
what comes out changes our life, negative way or a positive way.
absolutely.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And that's where the affirmations can help us to empower weaknesses that are within us,
Hmm.
because everyone is different and everyone comes from different family environment, where are siblings, where are loving parents, not loving parents, abusive parents, whatever. We all have different life experiences. So affirmations help to build connection with you, with the spirit within you, and help you to build your trust and love. It takes time, but I feel it's priceless. It's, I just want to say something which I think is very important. On the internet now, you have a lot of programs and a lot of vibrational recordings that so-called quick fix. Do this for 7 days, you raise your consciousness, and everything will be amazing. Life is not a quick fix. Life is a journey, and it's infinite journey.
Yes.
And we brought into this lifetime a lot of baggage from other lifetimes, whether we believe in it or not. People have different belief systems, but this baggage came with us with an invisible suitcase in order for us to change it, to change our life and to move forward and to evolve as the soul. Life is not just studying, getting married, having children, getting old and passed away. Life is incredible, amazing, deep journey of understanding, because Earth is university of life.
Absolutely.
But our education never finishes. We just move from one level to another. And unless we are ready in this lifetime, we are not going to be moved. We can only be moved if we went through challenges and understood the lessons and really learned from them, because lessons gonna come back at everybody until they learned. You can't move from one classroom to another unless you pass your exams.
Absolutely.
What are the most common things you see that cause people to just feel stuck or have lack in their lives? Like, what holds people back from truly embracing what you refer to as the diamond within?
I think it's a belief system.
Mm, mm,
Because if to make it simple to understand and to digest, let's say if somebody tells you something you didn't know before,
mhm,
and you accept it as the truth, it becomes your belief. It stays within you. And only you can undo the spell by changing the mindset. So if somebody is stuck and he believes maybe that to change that, he needs to do A, B, and C, that's his vision and understanding,
mhm,
not understanding that feeling stuck or disconnected has something to do with his belief system that he needs to understand and to address and to change it exactly the same way as computer. If you have old program in the computer, unless you erase it and write the new program, computer will give you out exactly what he was programmed for. The same thing's happening to us unless we understand that all these belief systems are false beliefs. They're not real, that there are other things that is true. If somebody is not looking for truth and accepting his old beliefs or somebody else's points of view, how can you change it? It takes, that's why I always say, the most important thing is a desire. If I want to change something in my life, if I want to heal my body, if I have no knowledge or understanding how to do it, but my desire will, one of those days, point it out the direction that will bring me the solution. It can be fast, it can be slow, it doesn't matter, but I will choose the path to find the solution. And the solution exists before I already asked for it. We just have to understand all the answers are here. If our scientist has not found answers for certain things, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It exists already. We are not there yet to see it in our field of our consciousness, because our consciousness is limited and universal consciousness is unlimited and infinite. So more we open up, it's like if you take a kaleidoscope, like a little child, and you tilt it just slightly to the left, the whole picture changes. Or slightly to the right, you have another picture. Every word that comes out of our mouth not only creates our reality, but either empower us or disempower us. And affects, obviously, each of us affect the collective, and people know nothing about it. They think, how can I impact the world? I'm nothing. You know, there is government, there are high officials, there are people who is knowledgeable, educated, and I'm nothing. No, every person has huge impact on everybody else. And if people will understand, they will become more aware and more careful.
Hmm.
That's why people talk about climate change, by the way. And the climate change is not happened by itself. It's a human consciousness that
Yeah.
created the issues with the climate change. And if we want to change the climate, we have to change the climate within.
Yes.
Yep.
I think it has a lot to do with perspective. And as you talked about earlier, like the law of duality, if one exists, the opposite can also be true. So if you find yourself in a negative belief or a negative thought pattern, if you connect to the opposite of that, that can be true too. Like both exists, and uh, you know, it is limitless. Like you can create that for yourself if you choose to believe it.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I think one of my last questions was, can you share a success story with us?
Look, I believe that success stories are stories we write every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day can be a story of success. It don't have to be something very big or very huge. Um, when you cook a meal and this meal becomes tasty and beautiful and people give you compliments, this is already success. Everything is a success story. When you um, overcome any kind of challenge, how small or how big is it, that make you feel good about yourself, this is a huge success. Everything in life is success, and you don't have to wait for something that it's really big, like overcoming cancer or uh, I don't know, something really, really important. Every moment of life is important, and it's like a puzzle. Every moment of life make your life either blissful or a hell, and it's everything in our hands, the way we look at it. I think when we grateful not only to others but beginning with us, when you're grateful to your body, to your mind, to your soul, because people treat themselves very badly, and I have quite a lot of people around me who is not listening because they don't understand that every cell in our body has ears,
Mm-hmm.
and cells are listening, and they're behaving exactly as we say. And the way we treat ourselves, that the way we treat others. That's why we have issues with relationships, because every relationship with somebody else begins with relationship with yourself. Every change of consciousness to me is a success story. Every change. If I wake up in a good mood and feeling amazing and sending love and light to the world and see world as united, no wars, no separation, just love and collaboration, this is my success. Every moment when I feel this way, I feel the moment of success.
That's so good. Just
Mm-hmm.
celebrate being alive,
Yeah.
celebrate waking up for another day. That is so, so amazing. I feel like in our culture today, it's all about achievements, on to the next thing. Like so many people won't even celebrate the big things because it's like, all right, I went to school, I got my degree, now what's next? I have to pursue the next thing, pursue the next thing. And people just have a hard time being present with whatever that is and celebrating that. So I think even just celebrating the little things are so important and can bring presence and awareness and so much joy into your life.
100%.
So I love that so
Mm-hmm.
much.
It is so important to celebrate yourself, because celebrating, it's like loving yourself, accepting yourself, healing yourself, just just giving yourself this love that comes back to you thousandfold.
Yes,
Mm,
you're like teaching yourself to connect with that unconditional love regularly. You're like reprogramming your mind
Exactly.
to like connect with that.
Exactly.
Oh, so
and
good.
to stay in that vibration more and more and focus on, oh, it's just so good. Yeah.
I just want to read you another poem, which
Yes.
is beautiful. It's called The Tapestry of Love.
Oh, I'm
Mm.
so excited.
Life is the tapestry of love, creative force of living art, the magic of the human soul, the spark of God that lives in all. When you connect to the force of light that lives within your sacred heart, you feel empowered and strong to live the life you truly want. And every cell inside yourself will keep you energized and well. And all the galaxies and stars will celebrate with you from far the consciousness of God inside, new era of the golden light.
Oh, my cells are tingling with joy. Oh, you were so clearly meant to be sharing that with the world, and I'm so thankful that you are. Really so appreciative.
Yes, you are a very magical, conscious soul that we are so grateful to have been able to connect with.
Mm.
And we are excited to share you with our audience. And with
Thank
that being
you.
said, as we kind of finish up here, we would love for you to share maybe where people can find you or connect with you further.
My website it's called thediamondwithin.co.uk. And over there, you'll find online programs. You'll find all connection to my social media. You'll find all the blogs and you'll find my books. My books are on my website and also on Amazon. But when you get from my book from my website, you get it signed by me.
Oh,
Oh my
And you
gosh.
will get a special message.
oh,
That is so
So
amazing.
yeah, I'm doing now a book launch in London on the 12th of June, in the very, very small gathering, something very special, special environment, bringing awareness and spreading awareness through grown-ups, which is not easy,
Mhm.
not easy, but in a beautiful way because my platform called The Diamond Within, and there is a reason for it because there is another story. I'm a graduate diamond expert.
Wow.
And a long time ago, when I studied in US, the diamond business, it just happened that I never made career out of it. Life took me on a completely different journey. And it was always on the back of my mind, why did I study diamond business? And when the time came and I was about to write my book, that was during the very difficult time. I was in Australia helping my parents, and COVID happened. And my dad went through the illness. I buried my father. Then I helped my mother. I was there for 2 years, separated from my family. My book, The Diamond Within, my online program, everything that I have on my website was born during the biggest pressure. The same thing like diamonds. Diamonds become brilliant by being exposed to high temperatures and massive amount of pressure. And that's how it happened to me. And the vision came to me that in order for me to connect people to the beauty within and the power within, what is not the best way to connect them through the beauty of the diamond? Because between diamond and human, there is so much in common. We're both carbon based, and every diamond comes from a piece of carbon, but not every piece of carbon becomes a diamond. So, as us, diamond has a choice to go through billions of years of hot pressure and high temperature to become brilliant. And it's also our choice. We can become brilliant from rough. That's why my first book called From Rough to Polished to Flawless. We are the human diamonds. And it's not just a metaphor, because the way the creator created us, he put a diamond within each and every soul. That's what we call the spark of God within. The diamonds is within us. It's metaphoric, we don't see it.
Yeah.
But every challenge helps us to polish another facet of life. And by polishing more facets, we become more shiny and more brilliant and more joyful, because life meant to be joyful. Created this did not created this world for us to suffer, not at all. It's us to created hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in my book, there are a lot of poems taking you back in time and giving you teaching and bringing into your awareness things in a very joyful and playful way. Something that it's rising your vibration instead of making you sad and tired and unhappy. We have enough unhappiness in the world. We need, and I'm here to inspire, to bring love and light wherever I can.
That's amazing. Fun and like joyous, like that inner childlike energy. That's so, so good. I also love your journey. I think everything has such a purpose. And even though you're considering it a challenge, like there is a reason for it. So I love that you found yourself working literally with diamonds, and then it led you to create this amazing like community in your books and all of this. But you kind of got to have that background information
Of
prior
course.
to it. It led you to that, which I think is so cool. So cool.
I cannot help but be in awe of how the universe just unfolds so divinely, and everything really does truly connect. It's just, oh, it's amazing to witness. I love it.
I'm so happy to be with you because I think your generation is so special, but it needs guidance.
Absolutely.
It needs guidance big time, because once we are no longer here, you're going to take over the world.
Hmm.
And I wish you to have the world only of joy and happiness. So we had enough the world of wars and separation.
Hmm.
And it's up to each and every one of you to connect to this love within and to unleash the power that you have within.
That's so good. I think that is a great way for us to finish off this episode. And again, we're so gracious to you for sharing your knowledge and guiding us. And you just have so much to share. So I highly recommend anyone who's listening to check out the offerings that Diana has to offer, because I wish we could almost even be in person. I can sense your energy so much through the screen, but I feel like being in your presence would be so amazing. You're just so high vibrational.
Absolutely. I am such a believer that your external reality always reflects what's within, and you are immaculate inside and out in every way. We're just so grateful to have had you here. I
Thank you
had
so much.
one last question. You had mentioned you
Yes,
have an oracle card set on your site.
yes.
We always draw an oracle card at the end of our episodes. Do you happen to have it available?
There is a beautiful oracle deck called The Journey of Love. Let me pull the card,
Yes, perfect.
okay?
Yes. We would love
Let
that.
So
me,
meant to be.
let me pull the card. 1 second. I just put my phone back. Takes few minutes because I just switched it off. It's not
Yeah.
to be disturbed. I believe oracle cards are beautiful. I love them. They help me also a lot. And this particular one is very poetic. It's very artistical and it's beautiful. Okay, let me just find the one. Yeah, it's called The Journey of Love.
Beautiful.
That's
And
awesome.
let me pull the cards for everyone.
Yes. The
This is a
collective.
special, yeah, collective. Let's, okay. It's called Heart Fire.
Ooh.
The name of the card, it's Heart Fire. Passion is igniting within you. It's not a time when things will remain still, even if the change is only sensed as a subtle stirring underneath the surface of things. Even if slow at first, passion will unfold from within your heart, soon to be burning bright light, a sun. You're learning how to ride waves of passion through eruptions of heat and descent into coolness, bearing the absence of fire, only to realize it is returning to you again. Ride its waves. Know that passionate bliss will always return to a heart that it's on fire with love for life. The coolness allows us to experience the heart. Once you realize that the fire emerging from within you will ebb and flow, you will trust in its presence. You will realize that whether your passionate fire is obvious, drawing you into life, or dwelling quietly within, gaining power from the deepest source of your being, soon to rise once more, it is a constant there in your heart. Accept the fire of your heart and know that it is how you are meant to be, on fire with love for all that is. This oracle brings a message. Trust the passion and the fire of your heart to guide your decisions. What would make you feel most alive? Choose that. If you're feeling lack of genuine passion in your life, take a comfort that it is awakening in your own heart now. Bring something that has been long in rest back to life.
I could not be more resonant. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes, thank you so much. What a wonderful way to end this episode. Again, we thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your energy.
I'm very grateful to you guys. Thank you so much. I think we
Thank
find
you.
each other at the most important time because there are a lot of changes happening in the
Mhm.
outside world. And it's up to each and every one of us to create the change within to make this world a better place to live.
Mm, I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll
Bye.
talk soon. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
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 Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, comment wherever you're listening. That is an energy exchange with us that we would so appreciate. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.